Hello, Doug Smith, family-friendly canine dog training in Northern California. The video you're going to watch here is the real stuff, man. Raider really has a strong reaction to other dogs while he's on a leash, and we started working on that tonight. So what you'll see is a lot of different angles at this. I used my own personal dog, Jerry, my wife, Gabby. My son, James, is taking the video, but really what we're doing is we're just trying to get closer and closer each time. I'm correcting any time that he does get a little too reactionary. I try to correct him even before he really gets too excited. And for the most part, what I'm using is a pet convincer, which is just compressed air, just to kind of startle him and shake him out of the out of his mindset that he's in. So that's what we're doing, and then eventually at the end of the video here you'll see Raider walking by Ernie in the crate, and that was pretty darn effective. So this is just the first bit. This is just the first step. We made a ton of progress tonight, but man, we got a long way to go. I can't have this guy being that reactionary to everything dog related on a leash. We got to continue to work on that. So we're going to do a lot of different things. You're going to see a lot of video on this. This is something pretty unique, and you don't often see all of the work that goes behind this. And yes, it's going to be sloppy, it's going to be ugly, you're going to see him do some different things, but you know what? We're going to get beyond this, and that's the point. So hope this helps you at home and maybe gives you some hope for your dog if your dog does the same thing. But in any event, enjoy the video. There's going to be plenty more of this, and we're going to make a ton of progress with this guy. All right, talk to you later. All right, right here you see my wife and Ernie walking. I'm walking on the other side of them, and you'll see that here. And you look at Raider, he just can't keep his eyes off, and he's really just trying to pull towards the dog. And then here you can see he's doing really well walking in my heel, which blocks his view a little bit. But watch, just as we get a little bit close, he's going to really react. I'm already using the pet convincer here, but you can see he's just going kind of bananas. He's really wanting to get at Ernie. I don't think aggressively, just very excited, but you can see what happens when we get just a bit closer there. So we're going to kind of work at a distance, and you can just see he's just all over the place here. A little hard to control, but we're working with it, and then as we get some distance, he gets a bit better. And now you see me again, other side of the street, and we're just starting to work a bit closer together. You can see here Ernie, and we're a bit closer. You can see again, he's really just way focused on Ernie. So then I move over to the sidewalk, and look how much more calm he gets. He even gives me a nice sit. So really the idea here is distance. So the closer we get, the harder it is for him to control himself, but we're going to continue to work till we get closer and closer and really have him understand what proper behavior is while we're out on a walk on a leash. So you can see it's just it's really a lot of work here. And in this part of the clip, right, he's really going to see jumps over to the other side. He's all excited, looking at Ernie, and so I just do a kind of a U-turn, then we're going to turn again. We're going to get a little bit closer, and really, you know, this helps when you use a dog that can maintain himself and his energy. Really helps a bunch. All right, now we're a bit closer, and you can see he's starting to react now again, and I pull him away, but not too bad. It's getting better, and he's getting better at getting under control with me. Here I am again. Now I'm going to give him a little more distance by coming on the sidewalk, and just to kind of ease his mind. And look at that, just falls really right in line and does a terrific job. So again, when you're working this kind of stuff, the important part here is distance. Really sense what your dog's comfortable with and start to work closer and closer, but at first you may have to start a little bit of ways away. Look at that, past Ernie, and no real big reactions there, so that's fantastic. And again, I turn to the outside, give him a little distance, let him feel a little more comfortable. I don't want him in a constant state of stress. Also note that the leash, when I'm holding it, when he's walking in heel, is nice and loose. Even during this process, that leash has to be nice and loose so as not to cause any additional pressure that he doesn't need. So Even though I'm worried about him reacting, you can see the leash is nice and loose when he's next to me. And while he's looking there, he's not overreacting and doing pretty well. So you can see slowly but surely we're getting there. We're getting to a point where I'm able to communicate with him and make sure that he knows that reacting that way is just not what I'm looking for from him. So look at that, didn't even look over that time. But again, this is what's so important about the heel position. It can block their view and create a situation where they're far less worried about everything. And terrific job there. Just really kind of working this program. This takes a while. It can be frustrating. It's a lot of work. But ultimately here, we're making a ton of progress. So really excited by what's happening here. Bingo, doesn't even look over at Ernie. Really just sort of fantastic. He's really getting in the groove and understands what I'm looking for. This isn't perfect by any means, but boy, he's getting a lot better from the first scenes that you saw. And here we go. Now he's to the inside and barely even looked over at Ernie. So while this is just one dog in one circumstance, the reality is you got to start somewhere, and you got to start building his confidence around other dogs. And eventually here what I'm going to do is I'll come back again. We're getting closer and closer, so you see based on the distance he got a little anxious there. Not bad. But again, what I'm looking for here, and again I'm going to give him a bunch of distance just to get him a little more comfortable, and all of a sudden he spots a dog down the street. There's another dog, and now he's going haywire again on me. So again, this is not something that is an overnight success. You have to build towards it. And so I got him under control again, and here we go, and we're going to get back closer to Ernie. So the idea here is you don't give in or give up. You just keep at it and you keep working, because the payoff is huge. And you're going to see that here where I'll come up and I'll even just stop fairly close to Ernie and just have him in a sit. And there we go. So Raider just in a sit with a dog not too far from him, and really actually at this point acting pretty good. Now that's as close as we've ever come yet, and he did really well. You can see he's still looking, he's still focusing, which isn't exactly what I want, but for this I'm really happy and really proud of this guy, how hard he's working. And you can see now we're really close. He's starting to react a little bit, and that's the pressure taking over for him. The pressure of being close to Ernie, the spatial pressure, is what he's responding to at this point. And now we're even closer, and I'm asking him just to turn around. Does a great job there. And you can just see that this is a very long process. This does not happen overnight, but it's so worth it if you can get your dogs to the other side. And now we're just going to sit and hang out. Much closer to Ernie this time than the last time when we did this. And you'll see in the next part, when I stop and sit again, we're even yet closer. So this is getting really much better. You can see his body language. He's really starting to understand that it's not okay to react to a dog just because he's sitting there or doing whatever, just because we're on a leash. And again, notice when he's next to me, the leash is nice and loose, right? No stress. Of course, he goes bananas there, but again, this is a process. All right, now he's in a sit, in a calmer state of mind. We're really nice and close to Ernie. He's not reacting, and for me the leash is nice and loose. I do not want Raider to feel any pressure from this whatsoever. Fantastic. And now we're working in our training center here, and you can see Ernie's in his crate. So this is just a different view for Raider. I just want him to be able to see and be close to another dog in a different circumstance, this one being in the crate with Ernie. And we're just going to walk around as we did outside and just really engage him, allow him to get close, but just kind of communicate with him that I just want him to walk with me. And you saw there he didn't even hardly look over at Ernie. So that's a huge improvement from just yanking all over the place, flopping all over the place, to really just being under much better control. He's curious, but we just keep going. And what you're going to see here in the next round as well is he's just going to almost not even look at Ernie. He just knows I'm supposed to follow this guy around. That's what I'm looking for, and bingo, fantastic. Well, that's our first session and our first try at this. Looking forward to more sessions like this and really getting beyond the excitement and the over-arousal. Great job, Raider.